What's up YouTube, Dal here from Zephyr War Games, and today I am actually really happy to be bringing you an update to Time Thieves. Now this is the Time Thief rank 4 spam deck that I showed you guys a few months back thanks to Matt, and what I've kind of done is I've updated it and I've changed the entire route of play with this deck. It's still designed to be rank 4 spam, if not so a little bit more, thanks to the new Utopia support we received in Brothers of Legend. If you would like to see a combo guide and test stand video for this particular deck, then please smash that like button, get the video to above 50 likes, and I will bring that for you. With all of that out of the way, I'm going to take you directly through the profile, show you and explain to you exactly what we've got and why we've got it. So we start off with Triple Time Thief Regulator. This is, as I've mentioned on every occurrence that I've done this deck, the best and the worst Time Thief card around. Now the reason it is the best is because you contribute it to trigger out and summon out 2 Time Thieves from the deck. The reason it is the worst is because it tributes as cost and you need to control no monsters to do the effect, which means if it gets ashed and you don't have any backup, you are in massive trouble. On the plus side, if they do try and ash it, you just go Gamma and you're good to rock and roll by ripping an additional card from their hand. We've then got Triple Time Thief Winder. This is the second best Time Thief card because you can detach a material from an XYZ you control to special summon this card from the hand. If it is normal or special, you get to add a Time Thief card from your deck to the hand except himself. That is where additional synergy comes in play off of the back of Regulator, which is why it also works so well with Adjuster as well. So Adjuster is, if you normal or special a Time Thief monster except itself, you get to special summon this card from the hand. If this card is normal or specialed, you can then send a Time Thief card from your deck to the graveyard except itself. Now again, the reason that is so good, you can only use 1 effect per turn. So that is something to keep in mind as well. But the reason that is so good is because it Foolish Burial's Beazle Ship, and then by Foolish Burial and Beazle Ship, the fact that you've pretty much going to have 2 level 4s on the board. You make a rank 4 XYZ, you're then able to detach to bring back Beazle Ship, so then all you need is an additional extender, and that's your second XYZ already in the bag. We're then playing at the 1 Chrono Quarter. Now, this isn't as good as the rest. During your opponent's battle phase, quick effect, you contribute this card. The next battle damage you take from your opponent's monsters attacked this turn is inflicted to your opponent instead. If a face-up XYZ you control leaves the field by card effect, which is obviously what Time Thief Redoer does, while this card is in the graveyard, except during a damage step, you get to special summon it, but banish it when it leaves the field. Again, the whole banishing when it leaves the field effect is null and void if you use them as material to make an XYZ, which is what you're going to be doing in this deck 100% of the time. Now we get into the extenders. So, with the extenders, we do play a very nice kind of lineup, and a new lineup that you may not have seen before. So, we're going to start off with the standard, and that is going to be Double Danger Mothman. Now the reason Danger Mothman is so good is, in theory, as long as you've got a hand, he will turn out to be a near enough free summon. If you don't have a hand, it's still a very good draw and discard to help set up your graveyard. We're then playing 2 of the new cards, and that is 2 Astraltopia. Now I would be playing this at 3, but I've actually put in a reinforcement of the army instead because he is a warrior. Now, for those of you that don't know what this card does, is if you control an XYZ monster on the field, so if there is an XYZ monster on the field, so including your opponent's side, you can special summon this card from the hand. You can send 1 other card from your hand or field to the graveyard to add an XYZ, Onomata, Zexal, or number, spell, or trap from your deck to your hand. You can only use each effect once per turn. Now, if you wanted to, you could go down the Onomatopoeia route, because then that would lead you into like your Go-Go-Gars and Gar-Gar-Gars additional extensions. But in this particular version, because I didn't want to overload it with Utopia cards, we're actually going to be searching out Number Protection, which is a counter trap, which is really important because when I show you the number monsters we're actually using in this deck, you'll see where the protection comes from. We're then also playing Double Astral Karibo. I only own 2 copies. I'm still testing it out at 2. I'm not sure if I would play it at 3 or not, but it is still a very good card. So you get to reveal a number XYZ monster in your extra deck to special summon this card from the hand, and if you do, this card's level becomes that revealed monster's rank. So it's a nice free level 4. The only downside is, while it is face up in the monster zone, you cannot special summon monsters from the extra deck except number XYZ monsters. You can only use the effect once per turn. A number XYZ monster that was summoned using this card's on the field as material gains the following effect: that it cannot be destroyed by battle or your opponent's card effect. So that is really good, especially when you combo it off with Time Thief Hack, which basically says that your opponent cannot target it. So what this really helps you for, spoiler alert, is with Double or Nothing and Utopia Double. Because the idea is that you're going to use Astral Cerebral to go into your Utopia Double. That then protects and allows you to play from there. So that's going to give you a lot to kind of move around with and a lot to kind of extend your plays for. And the best thing, because of the brand new Utopia support, you've got the ability of going first and going second using Utopia Double, which is great. Then for just our free general extenders, we are playing the one Rocket Recharger and the one Rocket Tracer, which are going to be coming off of your quick launches, because quick launch isn't a once per turn and it is just a free extender. Again, quite like the Shark deck, the idea behind this is you want to be able to build a board without committing your normal summon, or you want to be able to commit your normal summon in the form of your Regulator, and then should that get stopped, you still have enough extenders to continue to build your board even with your normal summon gone. We've then got the one Raider's Wing, so if you control if it is in the hand or graveyard, you can detach a material from your Dark XYZ monster to special summon this card but banish it when it leaves the field. Again, it doesn't matter if you use it as ranked material. And then the last two extenders that we are playing is the one Dogmatica Ecclesia and the one Dogmatica Theo, the Iron Punch. Now, both of these share the same effect, that if there is a monster that is special summoned from the extra deck on the field, you can special summon both of these cards for free. Keep in mind, Ecclesia will only lock you out of the extra deck if you declare to use her effect to search. If you wanted to, you could be using Ecclesia in this deck to search out something like Punishment, but what we are doing with these two cards here, we are basically using them as free extenders for level 4s that can then instigate our rank 4 plays, because we play a lot of generic rank 4s that really just want 2 level 4 monsters. Moving on to the only hand trap that we play and the last monster that we play in the main deck is Triple Gamma and the one Driver. And the reason that this card is actually really important is for the pure fact, like I said at the start, it protects your Regulator. Should your opponent want to go, okay, I'm going to try and Ash or negate your Regulator, let's say you go first or second and they try to Appaloosa it, you can then chain your Gamma, and then that not only gets rid of an issue card, but it also then allows you to go into an Omega, and then with that Omega you can rip another one from your opponent's hand. So if you do end up ripping another form of hand trap, or you do end up ripping a Nibiru, you're even better, in a more better stance to just go off free. Moving on to the spells, we are playing triple quick launch, not a once per turn, free summon of a rocket monster. Not much more needs to be said about this because the rocket monsters are level 4s. We are then playing free instant fusions in a sense, and what I mean by that is we're playing 2 ready fusions and a single instant fusion. The best thing about these, and when you combo with both of them, is the fact that you can use each one once per turn. So the idea behind these is, again, quite like quick launch, it is a free level 4 summon. Because you've got so many non-effect fusion monsters, the best way of doing this is to just play 2 vanilla extra deck monsters, and then you just get to special summon them for free. And then that gives you additional fodder to play around with. And if you open up one of each, that's a free rank 4 without committing anything apart from, yes, 2,000 life points. But as long as you're smart enough and not doing this in time, you'll be in absolute dreamland. We then play a lot of one-off spells. So you've got the one Double or Nothing. You want to bury this as deep as you possibly can because you do not want to see this in your hand. It is your route to OTK. It is your route from your double or your Utopia Double to get you into your number 99, which then produces a Titanic Galaxy as well. The one Reinforcement of the Army, the one Time Thief Startup. You could probably cut this, to be completely honest. So you special on a Time Thief monster from your hand during the main phase. You can banish this card from the graveyard, then target one Time Thief XYZ you control, attach 3 Time Thief cards of different types, 1 monster, 1 spell, 1 trap, from your graveyard to that monster as material. Now, again, it's very rare that that second effect is going to come up. You just use it as a way of getting another monster out of your hand. So if you've only got a ability to normal summon, so you've got 2 Time Thieves in your hand, one of them can just normal summon itself. You then, so let's say you got Winder, you search out Startup, activate Startup, get the second one out of your hand, and that is your rank 4 play. We've then got Time Thief Hack, which I think is probably one of the most underrated cards in this particular deck, and probably the best card in this particular deck because we do just go pure XYZs. So during the turn they are special summoned, XYZ monsters you control cannot be destroyed by your opponent's card effects. Also, your opponent cannot target them with card effects. So it means they can't imperm, they can't Veiler any of your XYZs that are summoned that particular turn. And that is quite important because you do actually XYZ summon during your opponent's turn too. The other thing about this is if you do combo this off, you search it off with Winder, you activate it, you protect all of your XYZs from being impermed and Veilered, and then once you get to your quick launch effect, bring out your rocket. Your Tracer Dragon can then pop the hack to summon out the other rocket from the deck, giving you only a dark availability, but gives you direct access to either go for a level 8 Synchro or go straight into a rank 4 material, which is great. Monster Reborn for the Graveyard Recursion and the one Called by the Grave to deal with any pesky hand traps, just as an additional form in sense to kind of be able to protect your retrograde with stuff like Gamma as well. Moving on to the traps, we play triple Phantom Knights of Shade Brigadine. It is just a free extender. It's a free level 4 extender that works incredibly well with Time Thief Redoer because you give him a trap, he is then instantly able to bounce a card your opponent controls. You could combo this off further and put Double Barrel in the extra deck, but the reason that I don't play Double Barrel in the extra deck is for the pure fact that it's very difficult to get to maximize him when I've got other cards I would probably choose above him. For the other one-offs, we do have the one Number Protection and the one Time Thief Retrograde. Throughout your combo, if you went pure defensive, you actually have a very nice and easy route to get 2 XYZs on the board and search out both of these. So you're sitting on 2 counter traps that your opponent's got to try and play through, plus the 2 XYZs, whether they be a Redoer that's going to involve a bounce, or whether they involve a double or nothing leading into a number 99, leading into a Titanic Galaxy. You just have so much you can play around with, it's absolutely bonkers. Not to mention that if you do go for your Utopia double, use its effect to search out double or nothing, and you still have an Astraltopia in hand, you special summon down the Astraltopia, he then gets rid of the double or nothing you've just searched, gives you a Number Protection, and then as long as you've got another extender or another monster on the board, which you'd get from your retrograde combo anyway, you're then still able to go that little bit further. So I'll try and show you that combo at the end of the video as well, just so you can kind of see the routes that I'm going for. So that's it for the main deck. I believe it totals up to about 42 to 43 cards. It probably could be cut down exactly to 40. I haven't really found the exact cards to cut as of yet, but once I do, I will of course show you. Moving on to the extra deck, the 2 Instant Fusion and Ready Fusion targets are the one Rare Fish and the one Carborna Knight. You don't have to play these specific ones. You can play any level 4s you want. It really doesn't matter. We'll go over the only synchro that we play is the one Omega, for the pure fact that if you do successfully summon off your Gammas, you go into Omega, Omega then rips from the hand and you're good to roll. The only question that I might have is if you do plan to go into number 99, Utopia Dragna, is whether or not you can actually summon Gamma that turn or not. If you can't, it's not the end of the world, but you kind of need to work around that. And once I know the answer to that, again, I will let you know. For the other XYZs, we are playing 1 Perpetua and 2 Redoer. Redoer is the best XYZ for Time Thieves. It's just so good. And the best thing about Redoer is because you're constantly stealing during each standby phase, you can make one hell of a fat off Zeus off the back of a Redoer. So literally just a Redoer with a counter trap pass can sometimes be incredibly good just to build your opponent out. Build up Redoer. If you get spells, you're getting free draws. You get traps, you're getting free bounces. And then you just go, okay, attack with Redoer, make a fat Zeus, and they're in massive trouble. Speaking of making Zeus, if worst case scenario, there are flex spots in the extra deck. But if you do need to rush to Zeus as quickly as possible, because maybe your opponent's got a massive board, maybe you dark ruler them, and you need to clear it off without having to go through entire combos first, you can just go Chuck and Iron, Broadbow, go into Zeus, Zeus clear board, Zeus still has 2 materials, and then you can continue to combo off. And I've already shown you throughout the main deck how many free extenders we've got to make this incredibly easily without conducting a normal summon. Then for our number, or actually let's go with Abyss Dweller, which is our only other non-number. This can be Tornado Dragon. It can be any kind of XYZ that is specific to the meta right now that you want to be playing around with. Then for our rank 4 number monsters, we've got the one Daguerres, the one Utopia, and then the one Utopia Double. Now, you're probably going to go into Utopia Double more times than not. Daguerres is just an additional option. Should you have opened up Double or Nothing and you don't want to go into either of these, Daguerres is another way of clearing your hand out, getting additional draws, bringing back an extender from the graveyard. You name it, you're still good to go. Utopia is there for the OTK play should you want to go with a Double or Nothing route. Alternatively, your Utopia Double is the Mac Daddy that is going to get you into your number 99 Utopia Dragna, and Dragna will then get you into your Titanic Galaxy. Now, the way this works is Utopia Double is you detach material to add double or nothing, and then you get to special summon from your extra deck 1 Utopia XYZ except 39 Utopia Double by using this face-up card you control as material, and its attack becomes doubled. So it becomes a 6k, but it can't attack directly. Then, off the back of that, your Dragna will have 2 materials. Your Utopia Double plus one of the level 4 materials to it. Dragna, either during your turn or your opponent's turn, can detach 2 materials to summon a number monster from number 1 to 100 in its name. It is treated as an XYZ summon. The turn you activate its effect, other monsters you control cannot attack directly. Also, you cannot special summon monsters from the extra deck except XYZ monsters. When an opponent's monster declares an attack, you can change the attack of the opponent's monster to 0. You can only use the effect once per turn. Now again, keep in mind, this is going to be a 6k beta. You're going to be able to reduce any monster's attack to 0, not just an attack declared on him. Off the back of that as well, Hope Harbinger is one of the only number monsters that has such a great effect that it doesn't require you to detach. So, once per turn, during either player's turn, when a spell card or effect is activated on the field, you negate the activation. If you do, attach it to this card. The detach effect is to redeclare attacks. So straight away, should your opponent go, okay, this isn't worrying me, it's not got material, or even if they're like, right, okay, well, I still got to get past this, you detach, add a material to it, and if they're like, all right, I'm going to try and kill one of your weaker monsters, Dragnar can reduce it to 0 so that they get killed, or Hope Harbinger can redirect it to itself. The last card we are playing is Zeus, because as you can see, we are playing 12 XYZ monsters. You want to be able to get into this guy as much as possible, and when you've got the quick direct route there and then you've got a fat stack daddy route there, it's a near enough no-brainer to be playing Zeus in this particular deck. Now you do have some flexibility should you want to, and you're like, look, I really want to play Dragoon, or I want to fall back on the meta, I've got the money cards, I want to put them in. You can put in stuff like Triple Tactic Talents, you can put in Vertes, you can put in Dragoons or Dark Phoenix Enforcers. It's entirely up to you. The only issue you get by doing something like that is that's where Dragnar becomes less effective. But keep in mind, it's only when you use his effect to summon that it means you can't XYZ for the rest of for the entire turn. So keep in mind that because it's a quick effect, you don't actually need to use this effect during your turn. So if you do make Omega, if you do summon out your fusion monsters, you can still make Dragnar and just leave him there. And then during your opponent's standby phase, you can then bring out your Hope Harbinger. And then during that turn, you can't attack and you can't special summon anything that isn't an XYZ, which doesn't matter because you're during your opponent's turn. Like, you've already built your board, you've got everything you need, you're not really worrying. So it is something to consider, it's something to look into if you want to take it up another notch. But I've tried to keep this Time Thief focused. I've also tried to keep it relatively budget. Like, I mean, apart from Zeus, which arguably you could cut, and if by doing so you take away Broadball and Chuckanine, it then comes down to what else you want to put in. So there's a lot of flexing going around, but the best combo that I just love is the way into double into Dragnar, and I'll show you right now how you get into 2 XYZ monsters, into 2 counter traps as well. So I'm going to reset the board state, and I'll show you that combo. Okay, so now I'm going to show you the 2.5 card combo that basically gets you 2 XYZ monsters plus 2 counter traps. Now, it's a 2.5 because the card just needs to be anything that can be sent off of Astraltopia, because the first XYZ monster you make will actually burn out one of its materials to try and bring back your Beazle ship, which means you can't make Utopia double to then go into Dragnar, because Dragnar needs 2 materials. So it is a little bit tricky, but it still gives you plays to kind of make around that you need to do. So you're going to go with your retrograde, you're going to use this effect to tribute it off to bring out your adjuster and bring out your winder. You're then going to try and chain block where at all you feel is relevant. And on this occasion, if you're worried about your double Utopia double being like impermed or veiled, you could go for a hack. But because I'm going to try and show you both counter traps, you're going to be searching your retrograde off of the back of your winder, and then your adjuster is going to send a Beazle ship. Then it really doesn't matter which XYZ monster you make, as long as it is not Utopia double, so it's entirely up to you on where you want to go for. You could go for Daenerys, you could go for an Abyss Dweller, it really doesn't matter. I'm probably, in this particular scenario, going to go with a Redoer because we are playing Time Thieves specifically, so it is very important that we utilise that card, especially when the retrograde was going to attach it to give Redoer a bounce once you activate it. Then what you want to do here is you're going to detach your material to trigger Beazle Ship's effect in the graveyard to summon itself back. You're then going to use the effect of Astraltopia to special summon itself down because you control an XYZ monster. You then use the effect of Astraltopia to send the random card from your hand to the graveyard. and then search yourself out your additional counter trap, which will be numbers protection. You're then going to overlay your Astrotopia and your Bezel ship, and you're going to go into Utopia Double. Use Utopia Double's effect to detach a material to add yourself a double or nothing, which can be used for Utopia next turn should you want to, or you can use it as discard fodder, is entirely up to you. Off of the back of that, you're then going to use the effect of Utopia Double to go into your Utopia Dragonar. Now what you can do is you can set 2 here and make sure you're protected, because then it means if your opponent wants to try and do anything during their standby phase when you try to trigger Dragonar or you try and trigger Redua, you can pretty much protect it with anything you want. Now this one gives you spell, trap, or monsters. This one gives you spells and traps. So the idea is that during your opponent's turn or right now, it really doesn't matter, you're going to use Dragonar's effect, detach 2 materials, and he will then special summon out a Hope Harbinger. So then from those 2 specific cards, you've ended up with a spell negate, a spell and trap negate, an omni negate, and then you've got a 6k boss monster, and off the back of that you've got Redoer, which will be stealing one of your opponent's top cards, and should you activate Retrograde, will then attach Retrograde so that it's got a free bounce as well. So your opponent's got a lot to kind of play through, and keeping in mind you still have 2 additional cards playing around in your hand as well. So should any of them have been free extenders, then you could have made Utopia Double first, and then discarded double or nothing. So you would then still have a free mystery card to play around with as well. And that is it. A short, sweet, simple combo. The deck does have more to offer as well, and I'll be able to show you that in a test time video should you smash that like button and get the video up and above 50 likes to show that you want to see that particular type of combo as well. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share. Until next time, guys, as absolutely always, stay safe and happy dueling.